Coach, great to see you as always.
Great to see you too, Kristen.
All right, let's start with the news from earlier this week. Deontay Johnson traded to the Ravens. Can you talk us through what went into that decision?
Yeah, just collecting all the information. We had some guys step in, in his absence and help us as a team. And so again, I trust Dan and Brant, collecting all the information, and felt like it was the best thing for the team to trade Deontay.
Okay.
Coach, when you look at just watching our quarterback play, watching Bryce when he's in the game, watching Andy when he's had the opportunity to be on the field, to me there seems to be a vast difference in the play calling or the style of play from the quarterbacks. Could you help us understand how that works?
Yeah, the biggest challenge for me is always to try to put the quarterback in his best position to have confidence and execute. And certainly two different quarterbacks, two different set of skills, and for me, as we continue to enter into each game with kind of a different lineup with our guys, from a receiver standpoint, some young guys stepping up for us, offensive line players kind of shuffling around, the steady has been Chuba Hubbard, in the run game, which we weren't great this past week, so we got to get back on track with that. But the whole thing kind of piecing together, so it's like weekly we have to kind of revisit what's the best thing for the whole group going forward, and that's really the challenge that I face on a weekly basis.
Coach, and is part of that, it just seems like there's a lot of shorter passes, a lot of check downs. Seems like for me as a defender, watching that on film, I would be more inclined to stay closer to the line of scrimmage. Is that something that we're seeing teams do when Bryce comes in versus when Andy is at quarterback? And is that something that we can take advantage of putting the ball up top when we see defenses do that?
Absolutely. We got to take advantage of taking those shot plays, and it all starts with the run game, and really just for me, it's about trying to find rhythm for the passer. And so a lot of times that happens on some of the quicker rhythm things. Bryce found us some great completions early on. We had a great drive coming out, so trying to replicate that rhythm and then take advantage of those things. That's where I got to be more opportunistic, TD. When I see those things and they start crowding the line of scrimmage and giving us that space, we got to be able to take advantage of it and take the shots, which is a huge part of our identity of our offense, and that's something that we certainly have to improve on.
Can you give us the latest update on Andy Dalton?
Yeah, Andy, just every day, just getting a little bit stronger, and so we're just collecting all that information, as we watch him continue to push forward and really try to return him back to 100% health so we can get him back going.
Coach, one of the things that I have taken particular interest in is our red zone defense. What are some of the things that you've seen out of this defense so far? And is it something that you may take a look at becoming a part of in the future, or are you just inclined to let Evero handle his defensive duties?
I have full confidence and trust in Ejiro and that staff. I believe in what they're teaching, the principles, a lot of the things that I've seen from afar, but got to really learn about firsthand this offseason, this training camp, all those things. So I really believe in our system. I believe in our concepts. I do believe that as we continue to have continuity with guys out there playing together on the field, we'll continue to improve. We saw huge improvement in the run game this past week. The sheer number of trips to the red zone is a challenge. When you look at total number of trips down there, in the last couple of games, we're actually pattern matching things better. We're better in the run game down there. But 7-8 trips to the red zone, the more opportunities you give an offensive coordinator and an offense to get down there in striking zone, they're going to find ways to find success, And so that's the part really is in the middle of the field, how to continue to minimize the explosive plays to keep the offenses from ending up in the red zone, because good results are going to happen the more opportunities you get.
One highlight of this game was Jalen Coker. Let's start with that big catch on third down. What did you see from that one?
Oh, just fantastic route, first of all, to set it up, to get an edge, hold his line, and then the concentration it took to make the catch and make sure he got that second foot in right on the sideline there. Mm-hmm. It was so close. We're staring right at it. It's like, is it a catch or not? I'm trying to get information from upstairs, and they were like, it looked clean, got both feet down. And so really exciting play, as we were struggling on third down, for him to have a spark and kind of get us going a little bit there.
And how about the touchdown catch?
Oh, yeah, just a one-on-one opportunity. Bryce saw it, kind of knew he wanted to go to him. Again, same thing, Coker getting in position, holding his line and giving space for the quarterback to be able to throw a forgiving back shoulder ball right there, and then coming up with it and having the presence of mind to scoot himself over the goal line right there real close.
What do you like most about the way he plays?
Takes advantage of the opportunities.
Yep.
One of my mentors, Tater, Carl Smith, actually Tracy Smith's dad, our special teams coordinator, he told me a long time ago, here's how you know a receiver's good. When you throw it to them, they catch it. As simple as that. He finds a way to win in zone. When it's tight man-to-man, he finds ways to win by creating separation. He can get loose on the back half of it too, and he's shown kind of his ability to stretch the field as well, and making the most of his opportunities.
Coach, we know that as players, we're emotional beings, right? And you have a player going to return to play against a team that drafted him, a team that he played with for a long time. Talking about Josie Jewell, how do you get him to calm down knowing that he's having the opportunity to play against his old team?
Yeah, the message to the whole team is it's about us, and we can't allow the opponent to take us out of our game. So that's the focus, and Josie's a great example of going back to a place where he was fired up and passionate to do it, but he stayed clear, he stayed calm, and he stayed focused in the moment and came out with a fantastic game. Really made plays all over the field, and was able to really express himself on a couple of those plays, letting it all out.
Having a couple of weeks without Josie and now being able to insert him back into the lineup, what are the biggest things that you feel like the defense missed not having him out there?
It's just the simple things that Trevin saw firsthand, which is like tempo, getting lined up quickly, some of those things kind of orchestrating the whole deal, right? The substitutions, the little notes that Coach E is giving them in the headset after the call on the situational awareness and all those things take time, to really grow. And Josie has all those things in his tool bag, so I'm really excited. I was really excited to get him back out there, to really get the whole group to play together.
I want to ask you about one of the plays in that game. I love to see Johnny Hekker throw the ball. I know this is the second time that we've seen it this season. What happened on that play, though, between him and Sam Franklin?
Missed the throw. We had it there. We had an opportunity. It was an aggressive call, down 2 scores, trying to find a way to compete, to find an advantage some way, somehow. And, the guy's back was turned. Sam was open, and we just kind of missed the throw a little bit wide. But, it's kind of just one of those things where, like, trying to compete, fight and scratch to find any advantage that we can.
Coach, you got a new week, a new opportunity, and you have an old opponent. You get ready to face the Saints again for the second time. What ways have you seen on film that they are not the same team that they were in the beginning?
I mean, just certainly from a personnel standpoint, when you lose a guy like Marshawn Lattimore, Paulson Adebo, some big injuries on the defensive side, part of the strength of who they are is being able to play that tight man-to-man coverage. But they got Kool-Aid McKinstry, and they got Alante Taylor. They brought Ugo Amadi back, a guy that I know from my days in Seattle. So they still got some really solid NFL players that they're going to be able to challenge us with, But again, Derek Carr, Taysom Hill coming back into the mix, being able to add pieces. So it always starts with the guys, and the challenge for the coaches to make adjustments to try to find a style of football that you can win with those differences. But having a couple of guys come back should help them as well.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate all your insight.